Well, let's get more on this with Santosh Rao, the head of research at Manhattan Venture Partners. So, Santosh, Huawei's Mate 60 Pro has garnered significant attention in China and beyond due to its use of Huawei's own Kirin chip. Could you explain the significance of the chip and its capabilities?
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is a good. I mean, it's a statement on Chinese ingenuity. They have really come up with a chip that the odds were against them. The suppliers were banned from supplying any parts to them. So it's a good statement on that fact that they could do it on their own, but it's still a long shot. It's still early. It's going to take a long time to really catch up to the Apple and Samsung chips that are at least 2 generations ahead of Huawei's chips. So I think still a catch-up to play, but definitely a good start in that sense. It has 5G speeds, though it doesn't have a 5G. It's not a 5G, but it can produce a 5G speed. So it's good. It's definitely a good beginning. It stops the slide, and apparently it has started gaining market share back that it lost. So it's going to take a while, but definitely the chip is not a complete substitute for what they lost, but it's a good beginning to kind of get there to have their own chip.
What might be the specific concerns or motivations behind the U.S. government's interest in these technical details?
Yeah, see what I mean. There was a ban on supplying any parts to make this chip in China, and so I think all the essential technologies to make this chip were essentially banned. So the big concern is that there was some violation of the ban. They were still getting the technologies and the know-how and the parts to make this chip. The company itself and also the foundry. So I think that's where the issue is. You know, were there any violations? How did they get to this place when it's so difficult to do it in such a short time? So I think that those are the issues they're going to look into and see how far the violations happened. But it definitely, China has shown that they are not going to sit around. They will do their own if the sanctions are ratcheted up and all the restrictions increase. So I think they're not going to sit around. And so this was a good statement in that sense that they can do something on their own if U.S. doesn't let up.
And how long do you think it takes a company to come up with a chip like this?
It takes a long time. So what's happening is making the chip might be okay. It might not be very difficult, but producing it at scale, that's where the big issue is. Can their foundry, SMIC, produce that many chips? Right now, the estimate is that they won't be able to really produce a mass quantity of chips to really compete to get back what they lost. So I think that's the big issue. Making it is easy, but to scaling it up and producing it on a mass scale, that's the challenge, and that's where I think that's really closely watched, and that's the big challenge ahead.
Thank you very much. That is Santosh Rao, the head of research at Manhattan Venture Partners. Thank you so much for your insight.